morning. Happy Monday. How y'all feeling today? It is the day that the Lord has made. Be blessed and highly favored and rejoice within it. So, Diddy trials. Important things for us to talk about. One is that I spoke about Mia, who was a victim that remains nameless. So if you all recall, there are 4 victims that are taking the stand, and they were promised that they could remain anonymous during the trial. So Mia is one of the victims who's on the stand now. So they're not able to sketch her, and no one is able to take pictures. The judge has ordered for everyone to put their phones and all of their audio recording things away. So in that, Mia has been testifying. The way that they describe her is that she's timid, that she is like a little bit shy, that she's looking down at the ground, that she has her bangs over her eyes, and she's talked about being timid and shy. So essentially the prosecution team examined her. We talked about that the last time. She talked about being R-worded. She talked about being assaulted by him, her arm being slammed in the door, her being pushed into a pool, her being slammed up against the wall, and the several times that he R-worded her. Now, in her testimony, she was very clear on her stance and what she experienced. Now, she said she didn't tell anyone about this out of fear for her life, and that these things happened while Diddy's kids were around and Cassie was around, but she didn't share it with him. Now, the defense team was able to cross-examine Mia, and the approach that they chose to take, in my opinion, was not the smartest approach. They brought up old social media posts, and it's the way that people described it was that they had them in binders and they gave them to the jurors and they told them to look through them, and in them were old social media posts where you could see Mia posting about her and Diddy's relationship, saying that he was a friend, saying that he was a mentor and she was his mentee. There was even a video of her joking about Diddy being her doctor when she went into labor. And so I guess what they were trying to suggest is that if you were R-worded by this person, then why were you posting these pictures of him online and saying that he was your friend after you alleged that he R-worded you and essayed you? Now, to me personally, I feel like that approach wasn't the smartest because it's 2025. Like, we're at a point where we all know that you could potentially be R-worded by a friend, by anybody. In fact, most R-words and sexual assaults don't happen from complete strangers. They happen with people that you know and that you have a trusting relationship with. Studies have shown. So for them to take that approach, and then the way that she's described as like this timid woman who's already struggling and on the verge of tears or is crying, it just doesn't seem like it was the smartest move for them to try to antagonize her about something so simple. And I don't really think that they proved anything other than the fact that Diddy has an immense amount of control. Like, he's able to control people in a way where you feel like you're his friend and also still are being assaulted by him. So I personally feel like the defense team didn't do a good job in their cross-examination with Mia, but I also feel like there's more to come. I think Mia's done on the stand, but I feel like their approach was probably the wrong approach, especially given the context of who we're talking about is sitting in front of them, and because it just insinuates that they have a lack of empathy in terms of people being R-worded or essayed, and that their only goal is to prove that Diddy is not a horrible person, though I think that picture's already been painted, so I don't know how much more they can do. Now, the other update in the Diddy trial is that Trump spoke on potentially pardoning Diddy in a press conference last week. So somebody asked in a press conference they asked Trump if he would consider pardoning Diddy if he were convicted. And I have many thoughts on his response, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the response for us to listen to, and then I will talk to you about what I think about Donnie DT's response to the request or the question about whether or not he would consider pardoning Diddy if he were convicted. So let's pull up the audio, which I just had. Let me pull up the audio for y'all. And this is what Trump had to say.
Well, Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, he sort of that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So I can't, it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know, I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Now, there's two really important things to consider in what Trump just said. One is that he's the petty king. So Trump usually is in response to people. So he said that at points, Diddy said things that were not okay or negative things about him in the press in response to him and his campaign or him running for president. Now, what's important about that is that Trump has a tendency to not really bang with people who say things about him that he don't like. He especially doesn't even like it when people say that they don't agree that he should be president. So there's the ego piece that's really important. Now, the other part of it, though, is that Trump also has a lot of the same. He's been convicted. He's been in situations that pertain to SA. So I think there's this feeling that he's going to say that he feels like Diddy was done wrong because he has similar experiences where he was convicted and he felt like he wasn't wrong for SA. So I think there's this weird space that we sit in where it's like, yeah, he's probably upset about what Diddy has said about him, but I think he can connect so much to what Diddy has going on that he would be more than willing to pardon Diddy from whatever he was charged with. Now I did listen to TMZ, and in the interview with TMZ, they made a good point. They were talking about how this could potentially impact the jury. So what they were saying was that the jury could hear this and think to themselves, well, if Trump's going to pardon you anyway, then why wouldn't we just say that you're guilty? Why wouldn't we just give him the guilty charge because you're going to be pardoned by Trump anyway? And if we had any question about whether or not you were guilty in the past, then this would be a time for us to say just whatever. Let's just call it guilty. So they said that it could be damaging to Diddy's testimony or to Diddy's trial now that Trump has come out and said that he would pardon him. But I feel like only time will really tell. But I do think that there's a world in which Trump does think that Diddy was done wrong and that he would pardon him based on his own experiences. And as horrible as that is, it's just the reality. Now, I also think that it's really hard for me, and these are my own biases, when people can find any level of empathy for somebody like Diddy after watching and hearing the testimony that we've been hearing in the video of Cassie. To me, it feels like even if you didn't think he was guilty of the things, pardoning him feels insane to me. But then again, we're talking about Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Trump would potentially pardon him. I wouldn't put it past him. But I do think that TMZ, when I listened to the TMZ interview, that he was actually right. That now that he said that out loud, I don't know that that's going to help Diddy with the jury, but we're going to see. We'll see what happens. So that's that on that. Now let's talk about Offset. So last week it was reported that Offset was requesting spousal support. City Boys down $1 million. Okay, City Boys down 10 million. City Girls up 10,000. So Cardi B is worth more than him. Her estimated, the total, Offset is upset. The total number, her net worth is much higher than his. And so him and his team decided that they were going to go to court and request, or to put in a request for spousal support from Cardi B to Offset. Now that news broke and Cardi B had a lot to say about it. So here's what we're gonna listen. We're gonna listen to quickly what Cardi B had to say.
I could have a good month. I could have a bad month. I could be depressed. I could be in a fucking room. But guess what? I have to pay that bill. No help. With no help. No nigga. Nobody. Me. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Those are my kids. I'm cool with that. Shit don't faze me. But you're not going to sit here and try to bash me as a mother when I pay for everything. Because you left me with a bill for a whole entire year. And I haven't said a thing. You don't even offer, nigga. So stop playing with me. That I'm trying to keep everything. What is everything? What's everything? What's everything? You want to split the Atlanta house? Let's split it. Yo, I'm still paying. He hasn't paid the mortgage for a whole year in the Atlanta house. I can have a good in the Atlanta house right now. And your bitch be going over there. And I want you, and you know what's so crazy? I be wanting to go over there and clap shit the fuck up. Because at the end of the day, I'm paying for the bill and that shit because you haven't paid shit for a whole year. But you know what? You harass me so much when I be with my nigga that I just want peace. I want peace. You want to be with your bitch in this house? Alright, fine. Just please leave me alone. I just want niggas to leave me the fuck alone. I just want to be left alone. I want to be free. Baby, whatever the fuck you want, I'll give it to you. I just want to be free. I don't want to be called 40,000 times. Threatening me, and threatening me. And I've been trying to protect your image. But you asking me for spousal support. And it's like, wow, that's some real bitch nigga shit. In the Atlanta house right now. And then when people ask you for spousal support, you trying to make it seem like because I'm a bad mom. Well, when you tell niggas that I'm a bad mom, make sure you tell niggas that Cardi B, Belcalis, Marlenis, and Manzar is paying $50,000 a fucking month for her kids. Because you don't help me with nothing. Go to the people when's the last time you seen your fucking kids. And you know what you did? You know what you did? You know what you fucking did? You coerced my daughter. You did a video and you keep threatening about this video. I don't give a fuck, nigga. I take a picture every single day. I can tell y'all every single day where I be at work. And then when people ask you for spousal support, you trying to make it seem like because I'm a bad mom. Well, when you tell niggas that I'm a bad... You coerce my daughter to say on FaceTime, oh, I miss my mommy. She's never here. She this, and that. And every single day you threaten me with that video. Like if I don't be busting my ass for them motherfucking kids, nigga. The fuck? Fuck ass nigga. And you know I was gonna stay quiet. But you're not gonna be sitting here in the industry trying to say that I'm a fuck mom. Nigga, I'll bust my ass for these fucking kids. And you haven't helped me with shit for a year. You need help. You need to go to fucking, I don't know where you need at. You need some help. I've been giving you grace because I know you're not mentally well. I've been giving you some grace because I know you're not mentally well. But enough, motherfucker. Enough. Bitch, you're gonna call the Breakfast Club, and because you feel less of a man, you're gonna be like, oh, because she's trying to take everything. Take what? Nigga, take what? You want, matter of fact, you want the house in Atlanta? All right, let's sell it. Give me my half. Give me my half of the house. All you gotta do is give me my half of the house, and you can keep it. You want them fucking cars and fucking bags and blah, blah, blah that you gave me? Alright, give me the same shit too. I give you the rings that you bought me and you give me the ring that I bought you. I give you the cars, you give me the cars that I bought you. You trying to say that I'm trying to keep everything. Like what? When's the last time you paid a bill in this fucking, in your kid's life? You haven't paid for shit. You haven't paid over a year. Bitch, you're gonna... Ever since you left ever since you're not in the house anymore, you haven't paid for nothing. And I don't even ask you for nothing. And I swear to God, didn't even want the fucking come on spaces and spaz out, but for you to try to go around and try to say these type of things, like it's like you're a fuck nigga. The fuck, you don't think I got a mouth? You don't think I got a mouth too? That's why you don't give niggas grace. I've been giving you grace and not crashing out online after so much shit that you be doing behind the scenes, because like I said, my mans be telling me, yo, stop doing that. You like a fucking clown when you do that shit. Why are you putting your business out there? Fine. But when you give niggas grace like you don't appreciate it. And now you trying to dirt me. You're an evil ass nigga, bro. You're mad fucking evil. You're evil as fuck. Like, goddamn, I just want to be left alone. I want to be left alone. You're in a whole relationship. You're in a whole relationship. Why the fuck you give a fuck what I'm doing? God, Jesus Christ.
So it goes on. So that audio is from last week. It's from 3 days ago. She was on live, and she essentially was responding to all the things that Offset was saying. And listen, I hear the pain in her voice. I know people have feelings about Cardi B, but I personally hear the pain in her voice. I believe that she's telling the truth. And if y'all all know, she posted a picture. So her and her new man, who is what's his name? What's his man name? Because listen, anyway, they posted pictures together of them posted up for their 6-month anniversary, if you can see it. And so, yeah, Stefan Diggs. So she's posted up with her new man, and he's also posted up to on his Instagram. And I feel like the reality is that she did move on. And what I say is that typically when men are hurt because they lose control of a woman that has held them down, they tend to start crashing out in this way because they can't believe that she's moved on. But Offset did a lot of this to himself. Cardi B does have the higher net worth. And if you're not paying any bills and you're not helping me with the kids, to request spousal support is kind of insane. And from what she's saying, Cardi B saying, is that he hasn't seen his kids since March. And the new baby that she recently has, she said that he's only seen her 5 times. So I think that it's time that we all just need to, it's time for him to pack it up. But I do think that there's a bit of him crashing out because he is hurt because Cardi B has officially moved on. And to be honest, even before she went public with Stefan Diggs, she was showing receipts of him crashing out, calling her nonstop, threatening her life, threatening her friends and her family, and being ridiculous. And now for him to request spousal support, I believe everything that she's saying. The last thing on the docket today is LMNOP, XYZ, DVD, JPC, I don't know. So if y'all all know, DVD is in the middle of a custody battle with the everybody's favorite black Little Mermaid, and he is currently not able to see his son. She has a full restraining order that's temporary, and she has full sole custody of their child. Now they're set to go to court this month. Yesterday, or this past weekend at Dreamcon, DVD and his team got into it with someone who called him doo-doo garbage. Doo-doo garbage. So they were at Dreamcon. Somebody who was standing nearby called him doo-doo garbage. And he essentially told his brother to handle him. And they got into this huge physical altercation where they jumped, in my personal opinion, the guy who called him doo-doo garbage. Now, here's what I have to say about this. Someone calling you doo-doo garbage is insane. It's you're fighting someone for calling you doo-doo garbage is insane. Fighting somebody for saying that you're doo-doo garbage is crazy work in general. Your brother fighting them, your friend, I don't care who it is. At the grown Jurassic ass age that we all are, that is something I expect kindergarteners to fight over. Somebody calling you doo-doo garbage is the most elementary thing I've ever heard of in my life. Now, people are saying that DDG wasn't the one that got into the altercation and that it was his brother and that he told his brother to go handle the work and people should leave him alone. Outside of the fact that I think that it's insane that you or anybody that you with would fight somebody because they said you're doo-doo garbage, he's in the middle of a custody battle. This man is in the middle of a custody battle and trying to fight an order of protection. And the reason that it was given to Hallie and her son is because they say that he is violent, that he is dangerous, that it is not safe for the child to be around him. And then you decided on live camera while you're streaming that because somebody called you doo-doo garbage, that you were going to have you and your team respond with violence in the middle of a custody battle. Let me be clear. The judge doesn't care if it was him or his security or his bodyguard or anyone else that got into that tussle. What they're going to see is a headline that DVD and his team being his brother, got into a physical altercation because someone called him doo-doo garbage. That shows a lack of self-control. Now, I personally believed everything that Hallie was saying from the jump, but if someone calling you doo-doo garbage could send you down that much of a spiral, that lets me know that bigger than anything else, you lack self-control. In addition to that, somebody tweeted saying, DVD calling DDG doo-doo garbage is simple but also hilarious every time. He responded by saying, careful, the last ninja that said that lost some Mario coins. On Twitter, he responded, that was his reply on Twitter, for them to now be able to take in court. On top of that, the guy who called him doo-doo garbage is now saying that he's going to take legal action against him. So you have a custody hearing and an order of protection hearing, whatever, in just a few days. And you did all of this and you're on Twitter doubling down on it after you tried to come out and say that it was a skit. And to the people who are saying moral of the story is leave people alone, y'all are delusional. Because at the grown age that he's at, if someone could call you doo-doo garbage and make you respond in that way, that is insane. At this grown age, someone saying you're doo-doo garbage and you don't just laugh, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I want y'all to know that I'm not even a third as famous as DDG. And people call me names on the internet every day. You know what I do? I laugh. Because it's hilarious. Someone calling me doo-doo garbage would literally send me into a fit of laughter. I couldn't laugh hard enough because that's how ridiculous it is that someone's calling you doo-doo garbage like you're a toddler in a preschool. And the fact that you and your team decided to do all of that and crash out, he don't care about that kid. He don't care about that kid. You could not care about your kid and be fighting for custody and talking about, oh, free Halo, I just want to see my kid, blah, blah. And we knew that from the beginning. That's why he didn't go to court. He didn't go to court in the first place because he already knew that there was evidence of him being abusive. And now you clearly can't care about your kid because if you wanted your kid back, somebody would have called you doo-doo garbage and you would have let that roll off your... I would have let that roll off my shoulder even if I wasn't in the midst of a custody battle where I was being called violent. I wouldn't care. So I'm sure that the little everybody's favorite Little Mermaids lawyers got that written down and ready for court. I hope that he can maybe pay off the guy that they assaulted for him to back down. But if he takes legal action, that's it. And this is why I say also a lot of men show their true colors while they're all screaming that he is not who she says he is and that he would never do that. I believe it wholeheartedly, and this is a clear example that you have no self-control because all somebody did was call you doo-doo garbage. Now imagine how he would respond when someone who you are obsessed with and that you love that much told you they didn't want to be with you. Imagine how somebody would respond when someone that you love, that you're obsessed with, and that's the mother of your child, told you didn't want to be with them. They didn't want to be with you. Because that's what I would say. That's what I would bring up in court. Because the fact that you even told you and then was caught on camera saying, don't record this, and then on top of that, responded to someone on Twitter who called you doo-doo garbage again and said, be careful, the last ninja lost some Mario coins. Good day. So he'll never be seeing that child again. It is what it is. Anyway, that's today's morning coffee.